Move on. We are going to start the day with PCS for House Bill 441 relating to cardiac and medical emergencies on school grounds by Representative Yakorski. Representative, you're recognized to explain PCS for House Bill 441.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Temple, and Ranking Member Benjamin. It's an honor to be here today and present this bill. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to my prime co-sponsor with your approval, and he's going to do the intro of the bill. Thank you.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members. PCS for HB 441 will do the following. It will mandate that every public school, including charter schools, this is almost 5,000 in our state, will have at least one automated external defibrillator, or AED, on school grounds no later than July 1 of 2026. It authorizes the State Board of Education to adopt rules for their usage and administration of this, hopefully, law. And why do we need this? Well, both the American Medical Association and the American Heart Association have provided us with the following statistics. Sudden cardiac arrest is the leading cause of death of people on school campuses today. This includes persons of all ages, of course. And of course, I'm speaking about students at our schools, as well as adults, teachers, parents, visitors, support staff, etc. One study shows that among persons 3 to 18 years of age, school-based cardiac arrests accounted for 13.1% of all public location cardiac arrests. And this accounts for about 4.4% of all cardiac arrests. As you can imagine, the younger you are, the less likely you are to have a cardiac arrest, and the percentage gets greater with age. While we have more school personnel trained in CPR, in large part due to the great work of previous legislatures and the responsibility and dedication of many of those great school employees and school districts that have committed to doing this. More first responders are also equipped with AEDs in their vehicles and the training. Of course, all of this is about timing. It's about getting to a person that has suffered a sudden cardiac arrest quickly. Both the AMA and the AHA have delineated that 3 minutes is the key to restore blood flow in order to avoid irreversible organ failure. Mostly, this we're talking about brain death. So we're trying to get a heart started again and good blood flow before that 3-minute mark. Now, a lot of times we talk about things in a vacuum. We talk about hypotheticals and theoreticals. And I like to think that our legislature is proactive and not reactionary. So this is a little personal for us. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, back in 2017, a young lady in Miami-Dade County performing a play. She currently is Representative Garcia's constituent. Her name is Hannah Kime, very talented young actress. Well, it turns out that during the play, while she's performing, her heart stopped. Her heart stopped twice, and she was resuscitated. Subsequently, and I'll get back to this, but subsequently, or actually, it might have been after, her heart stopped in her sleep at about 19 years of age. And it was started again. It was started by an AED. But the AED was not external. The AED was an internal defibrillation device implanted in her because her mother found out that she has a genetic issue, which means that sometimes her heart will start to pump, and it pumps so violently, so strongly, that it stops beating blood, thereby causing death. Now, the personal aspect, other than to Rep. Garcia's constituent, we also have another constituent of Representative Garcia that works here in the House. She is my legislative aide. Her name is Bethany Kime. Bethany is here in the audience with us. Bethany also has the same condition, Bethany also has an implanted defibrillation device. So this is something that can happen at any moment, at any given time. Luckily, Hannah had an AED very close by, implanted in her. We don't know what might have happened that night in 2017 when her heart stopped. But we do know that if this law is passed, there will be at least one AED close by in every single school in Florida. And that is the bill, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Members, are there any questions on the bill? Representative Alvarez?
Representative Rhodes, this is fantastic, and I wish I would have thought of this. This is going to change lives. Is one enough?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Representative, for the question. So I believe the answer is probably no, but it's a start. And I think because we have no data, nothing's been tracked and managed on this over the years. And I commend a lot of these school districts. They've taken it upon themselves to go out and get equipped with these, a lot of the bigger communities, counties. Um, but we just don't know what those densities look like, multiple floors, multiple buildings. So the goal here with this bill today is let's get one on every campus to start so we can prove the model. We will start saving lives immediately. And my hope is within the 2-year period that everyone's in compliance, we will then have data. We have an analytical component in this bill to make sure we're tracking this, and then we can come back in a couple years and reevaluate it in phase 2, if you will.
Representative Alvarez, follow up?
How easy, do we need any training for this? How easy is this to use?
Thank you, Representative. A lot of members have asked those questions. These AEDs basically are foolproof right now. Basically, you turn them on, you put them on a person. They will not discharge unless they have to. So if the computer reads that there is some sort of cardiac activity and the person could be in danger if it did discharge, it will not do that. So yes, there should be some some kind of training, I believe. Basically, where is it, when to apply it, how to apply them. Before 911, the responders to 911 get there.
Any further questions? Ranking member?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So along those lines, is there anything in the bill for training with regards to the device?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great question, Rep. The answer is yes. What we've decided, and we've been all through this different spectrums from being very prescriptive on that to ending with until we prove the model, we've left all this up to DOE. We've been working very closely with Commissioner Diaz and the staff over there, and they are going to create all the rulemaking around this. How are we training for it? What are we doing? What makes sense? They've been deep into the research on this as well, and they're already working on it. So they will be deploying that to the schools over time. And then again, when we come back in a couple of years, we'll then have, I think, a solid plan on training, on managing this, on deploying this that we could perhaps codify in statute at that point. But right now, we're going to leave that up to them and advisory committees to kind of put that plan together that makes sense for the greater good of every school.
Follow up? No. Any further questions? Okay, great. We do have a couple of appearance cards. David Jordan, Office of the Tax Collector in Lake County, is a proponent of the bill and would like to speak. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I also want to thank your esteemed committee for the opportunity to speak here. It might seem a bit odd to tax collector get up and talk about AEDs. My prior life, I spent almost 20 years in EMS as a firefighter paramedic. So what Chair Rizzo cites obviously is accurate as it can be, but from an anecdotal standpoint of my 20-year career, a defibrillator is the gold standard for it. It's in our day now, Narcan is a big deal. It's somewhat analogous to that, if you will, in the sense of the simplicity of it, how safe it is. And I was in the profession when they weren't around and when they first came out. They were very antiquated and they worked wonderful then. We now have them, basically not a defibrillator on my arm, but an EKG ability, as y'all know. So I just wanted to share that. And also with schools, there's a lot of activity of folks coming in and out, whether it be parents or visitors or vendors or staff or what have you. As we covered earlier, the reps did. The tax collector office you're familiar with, we see in my county 3,000 people a day on a busy day in the 3 service centers. When I first took office, I put one in every one of the offices, and I have somebody that oversees that. I work closely with our sheriff, who has all his deputies have AEDs in Lake County at our schools. So I'm proud of Lake County for taking that advanced position on that. And then the last thing I want to say, I am, and I'll declare this, a Republican. I am a constitutionalist. I am very conservative financially. I run a very tight ship. But I tell you, there's 2 things people really want to save: money, and the most important thing is their life. And so this will do it. And I've seen it personally. I've actually, before automated defibrillators, actually administer and watch people come back to life. And it's a very rewarding thing, to say the least. Unfortunately, there were times, a lot of times, I didn't see that because there wasn't that immediate access. With the critical mass of the heart still fibrillating, the sooner it gets there and shocked, the chances go up logarithmically. So thank you, and I probably took too much time, and I commend both of these gentlemen for their bill and your consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate your service.
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy Lother, Florida PTA. It's good to see you today. Thanks for joining us. Nancy is waving in support. Members, we're now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to debate the bill? Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Rizzo, Representative Jarkowski, thank you so much for bringing this bill. I know that this is going to save a lot of lives. As the chairman mentioned, the CAMES are in my district, and it's something that's very needed. I know other families that have had this issue, and even though we think that our young in schools, they don't need and they can't have heart attacks. There's the heart stopping, and the AED is going to save so many lives. So thank you so much for bringing this, and God willing, we'll have a law.
Ranking Member Benjamin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I know how hard you've worked on this legislation, and it's not the first time that I've heard of it. I've co-sponsored it in the past. I believe that this is something that we should be doing, and I commend your tenacity and your persistence and to keep at it. Hopefully, we'll get it done this time.
Any further debate? Okay, well, I would just like to say great job. Both of you have worked tirelessly on the bill. Multiple conversations that we've had, just trying to get into the weeds, make it the best bill, but yet the most conservative bill that it could be. I know that it has the potential to save so many lives. My biggest hope is that it never has to be used and it just sits on a wall. But from your statistics, that's probably not the case. But I do appreciate all your efforts. I think this is a life-saving bill. And I would just like to add to Representative Alvarez, for the past 3 years in our suite, we've offered CPR and AED training for the entire House. The staff and the Senate will be doing that every year as long as I'm blessed to be here. So anyone is welcome. We'll make sure you get that invitation. So again, thank you so much, and you're welcome to close on your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can't, first and foremost, I can't thank you enough. You know, when I came to you early on this and you looked at me and you said, if you're willing to do the work, we got work to do here. And we buckled down, and under your leadership, that's why we're here. Single reason why we're here, and with Ms. Sanchez's help. So thank you. I learned a lot through this process. You know, my Senator Baxley, started working in this space a long time ago. So this was something that was important to me when I saw this bill last session, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So it's an honor to work with Rep. Rizzo on this, and he let me get involved. And I believe that we are just getting started. This is going to be incredible. And I want to thank Commissioner Diaz and Department of Education. And as I said earlier, these school districts that have already gone above and beyond that are doing this, I think more than 50% of the school districts already have them. But again, there's no reporting, so we're kind of basing it off about half of them that will need them. And I think we're going to be just fine using those numbers. And I got a chance to speak to Miss Stephanie Kime, Mama Kime, the other day, and she represented many people that have come to see me and called me. And it's unbelievable how tragic this is affecting people. God bless her that she knew about this and could protect her daughters. But many people just don't know. They don't even know to get tested. They don't even think about it. Why is this on the rise? Could be diet, could be genetics, could be medical issues. It could be the sheer fact that we just have a lot more people in Florida in the schools now, and the numbers are going up. For whatever reason it is, I want to be able to give every mother and father, I have 4 daughters and a son. God forbid this happened to one of my kids. I would certainly like to have a second chance to go fix that problem. And that's what we're doing, is we're making that possible here today. As Rep. Rizzo said, it's the #1 cause of death in schools, on school campuses. National statistics say that 63 students every single day die from sudden cardiac arrest. In Florida, we lose 4 students every day. 4. If we could save one a week because we have them there, that's 52 people kids we save in a year. It's staggering, these numbers. The current survival rate is 9%. If this AED is deployed on a student or anyone going through this within 3 minutes, as Rep. Rizzo said, we have a 90% chance of saving their life. 90%. And we're not talking about tens of thousands of dollars for a unit. We're talking hundreds of dollars. So I think that this, of all things, I'm very big on protecting children. I do a lot of work in the criminal justice space, and specifically, what are we doing to protect our children, right? Well, this is akin to that. This is something they don't even know is coming. And so I'm just honored to be able to carry this bill and be here today with you all. And as I said in the beginning, and I close with this: this is phase 1, folks. And I promise you, we're not stopping. This is phase 1. We're just getting started. And one day, this, I hope, is part of the legacy for my service and my time up here away from my family, is these are the things that we're doing, because this is going to matter in 10 or 20 years. And I ask myself that every day I get involved in anything: is this going to matter in 10 or 20 years? And this is exactly the kind of stuff that we should be doing. So with that, I close, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Having closed on the bill, Misty, please call the roll. Representatives Alvarez, Beltran,
Yes.
Benjamin,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Casello, Chamberlain,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Gant,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gilombardo,
Yes.
Gonzalez Pittman,
Yes.
Placencia,
Yes.
Redondo, Temple,
Yes.
Tomco,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Chair Trabulsi. Yes. 15 yeas, 0 nays, Madam Chair. Members, by your vote, PCS for House Bill 441 will be reported favorably.